Hey, John. Check it out, Bite. John's the number one contributor for the whole live stream. Can you imagine that? That's quite an accomplishment. Yeah, he would have been 87 today. It's hard to believe it's been almost 6 years. Halloween was good this year. Had a decent crowd. I think I had 72 or 73 kids. That's pretty good. That's about average. Getting to the point now where people start to recognize that, hey, he's the guy that does Halloween every year. So I got people that are starting to show up around the house, coming from, somewhere else. A couple parts early on in the evening, I'd see someone like driving home from work, and they drive by the house real slow, and they'd be shooting video out the window as they drive by. They're going to tell their kids, hey, we can go see this place. I got new neighbors next door too, and so I got to meet them for the first time. Right? You didn't meet anybody, any of the neighbors, though. You just stayed in your room and slept, didn't you? You weren't really into this whole Halloween thing. I mean, what would you do? Go as a dog? Yeah, that'd be kind of silly, wouldn't it? You wouldn't last for 5 seconds with a leash. No, no kids there or anything like that. It's just me. I'm the kid. Total was about 72, John, which is about an average year, I think. I think, like I said, the first time I was here, I was concerned that when I did Halloween the first time, that the neighborhood wouldn't be on board, but they've been very supportive. I got rid of most of it. I had a little bit left over, but I have a large box. And I fill it with candy, and then that box goes into the bowl, and the bowl's probably like about this big around, and about half the candy goes in there. So I kind of top it off at the middle of the evening. Yeah, yeah. The Wailing Ghoul performed very well, and I did things a little different this year. In the past, I've kind of people have asked, "Oh, can I take pictures?" It's like this year, I actually kind of set up things like for photo ops. So the Pumpkin King, he was just a photo op. He was right out there on the street. He was lit up. People go stand up next to him. If they wanted to, I had that spider web in the front yard. They could go stand behind the spider web and with the spider. And so there were, I think, some good opportunities this year. Oh yeah, the zombie babies were a hit. Yeah, there were a few that didn't want to even come up to the yard. I don't make people come up to the door to get candy. I'm outside and I greet them on the street because otherwise nobody would come up that walkway. It was funny though. There's one little boy that was about 3 years old, wouldn't have anything to do, didn't even want to be on the same side of the street as my house when they walked by. And then a little bit later, a little girl who was about 3 years old met this little boy, and she was laughing at my display. And all of a sudden, the little boy wasn't as afraid anymore. I thought that was pretty funny. Hello, Gene. I think the number was about 72, Gene. It was about an average. It was an average year. Clearly divided into two groups. The kids start coming before it's dark here. So the really little ones are out and about before dark. And then it gets dark and the little kids kind of go back in the house. And a little bit later, the older kids come out. So there's definitely two parts of it. All right, we got two Jeans and two Johns. We're doing really good on Jeans and Johns. Well, Halloween's all torn down now, so we're past that. Um, I do want to get up on the roof today. We had a storm about a week ago, and it knocked a lot of like tree debris out of the trees, and it's on the roof for now. And now that I got Halloween kind of cleaned up, I'd like to get out there and maybe clean up the yard a little bit. At this point, the grass is starting to slow down, but the nice thing about the mower is it's like a vacuum cleaner too, so I can vacuum up all the leaf waste and make the yard start looking nice again. Because we're getting to the point now where the leaves are going to start falling out of the tree, and so you got to stay on top of that. No, I had liquor out this year, but it wasn't cold enough that it came up. It was actually kind of a nice night. It was probably low 60s. It was a great night to be out. You know, compare that to a couple of years ago where it was like 40. And, you know, at that point, the liquor was really welcome. And I was sort of slurring my speech by the end of the evening. Yeah, there's a whole cat down there, not just the ears. Like if you look at that belly, there's two cats down there. Yeah, I was pretty fit faced by the end of the night. Had a good night. Like I said, these Halloween things, these are really the best time for me to get out and meet the neighbors because you know everybody's out at that point, and so you know it was you know it was fun to meet the people. Like I said, the neighbors next door are brand new. They've moved in the last 3 or 4 months, and so this was really the first time I'd gotten a chance to meet them. Just a nice young couple, man and woman, recently married, got a couple-year-old daughter. Yeah, yeah, really watching some of these governors races. It's going to be a, you know, kind of a an idea of what's coming up in the midterms here. It did. That property was on the market for probably 6 months. You know, it wasn't like my house. I was afraid that, you know, the house I have right now, that it had been on the market for 2 weeks before I made the decision. That said, yeah, I want that one. I was afraid when I talked to the realtor at that point that he was going to say, oh yeah, you missed that one, too late. There's another house down the block too that's well a couple blocks over that's been empty now for 6 months, and the owners fired the realtor and tried selling it themselves. That didn't work out. Now they're trying to lease it. It's like, ugh. I'm glad I'm not in that position that I'm having to sell a house right now. Yeah, they seem really nice. I don't this is a very quiet neighborhood anyway. So, you don't ever have people, having loud parties or anything like that, or making a lot of racket at night. Well, I'm sure at some point the market will turn around. Interest rates are lowering. That's going to help. They just lowered it another 0.25% this past week. That's 2 times this year they've lowered it. That's sort of what needs to happen. Yeah, but this house is pretty soundproof, so even bites, raves don't really cause any problems, do they? Yeah, my Uranus shirt. I get a lot of laughs at that one at work. There's always room for a good fart joke, right? You like a good fart joke, right? Yeah. Well, Bite's a constant purr machine right now. Surprised you don't hear that. He meows every once in a while, right? Meow, meow. What planet is the noisiest? I guess that's true. I don't know how many times I want to drive down to Houston. Traffic is horrible in Houston. If I could helicopter in, I'd do that in a second. But Yeah, I don't mind being out on the road. Like I said, when I came back from San Antonio a couple weeks ago, I took kind of some of the back roads back, and it was a really nice drive. I won't do the interstate route anymore. That was boring, and it was all trafficy, and nobody wants to do that. Part of the reason I left California is to get away from the traffic. Well, besides, the Waco Gym and Mineral Show will be here in just a couple months. Plus, I'm pretty sure the Houston show is probably the same show that comes through Waco. A lot of these, are just traveling shows. These are people who just go to all these shows, and it's the same stuff at every show. That's sort of why I like doing the Rock and Mineral Show in Waco because it only comes along once a year, and so by the time, even though it's the same vendors, they probably got new stuff each year. Hey, Mark, welcome to the party. Thought everyone would get all screwed up because it was start of daylight savings time or end of daylight savings time. It's really hard to say in terms of what normal is at work right now because I've been at work so little in the past month. Start of the month and start of October, we were on maintenance intervals, so I wasn't at work much then. And then I was back for a couple of days, and then I went to to Vegas to be in Jordan's thing, and then I was back a couple more days, and I took a couple of days off this week to do Halloween. So I don't know. It's going to be really weird going back to work now. When I go back to work on Thursday this week, I'm back in a normal schedule now until what Thanksgiving or whatever. I think I've worked like 5 days in all of October, though. It's crazy. The boss has been bugging me to take some time off for a long time, so I didn't really get any blowback from him. I took I scheduled the Halloween and day off after Halloween off, 6 months ago because that's just an important one. But and then the Jordan wedding dropped in there, and it's like, oh, I know this is gonna really. I'm sorry about the timing. It's the days right after the maintenance interval ends. When you're gonna be trying to bring everything back to life. But the boss tolerated it. He knows I'm there every day. He knows I don't take vacation time, so it's good having a good boss. We're like 24 minutes into the live stream and you're still here. That's kind of amazing, isn't it? Haven't even dished out any kitty treats yet. Wow. San Luis Obispo, that's a nice area. I mean, if, I've been through there a few times. It's a nice area. I envy you, Mark. I love it when it's cloudy and rainy. It's sunny and shiny here today. It's supposed to get into the low 80s. It was actually kind of nice out this morning. I did something I don't usually do. I hadn't reset the clock, so I ended up getting up an hour earlier. And since I had an extra hour between when I got up and when the live stream went, I did one of my night hikes during the morning. That was kind of fun. Doesn't really make that much of a difference to me, Gene. It's dark when I go to work. It's dark when I get out of work. So that's just the way it works. That's so I can have days off like this. Yeah, it's probably in the upper 60s right now. It's not too bad here. Well, would you like rent an apartment or something like that when you went to San Luis Obispo? If you're just going to be there for a short time, or do you have friends that you can stay with? I don't know. That all depends on how that works. I mean, when you work all year long, you need some vacation. Even my boss tells me that. I want to kind of get the front yard cleaned up a little bit. I'll probably just mow it just to kind of. We're starting to get to the point where we're moving into fall now, so the leaves are starting to come off the tree. I want to kind of stay on top of that, and I also kind of want to get into the backyard and kind of clean that up a little bit. I haven't. I don't go out there and mow that as often as I mow like the front yard. That's sort of Flash's habitat. She likes it when it's a little bit overgrown, but every once in a while you got to get in there and clean it up. Otherwise, you start getting wild animals back there. I don't know. We'll play it by ear. I want to. I want to try and go out and do something vlogging wise this week too. I don't know yet. We'll figure it out. Always do. Pacific Coast Highway is nice. Well, Flash's hibernation isn't like what you think of when you think of like mammals hibernating, uh, where they go to bed at a certain time and then they're down for like 6 months or whatever it is, 4 months, and then they come up. Flash's hibernation is based solely on the fact she's cold blooded. So when the temperature gets too cold, she kind of slows down and goes to sleep. When it warms up again, she'll be up and about. So, you could be in the middle of winter and all of a sudden you get like an 85, 90-degree day and she'll be up and about. So, um, hibernation is just something that happens when it gets too cold. But I like to keep an eye on her, make sure I know where she is, because when it does get to the point where it's really cold, I like to be able to put her into her house so that if it gets really cold, I can move her into the garage easily. Yeah, holidays don't roll over at the place I work either, but they pay you out at the end of the year if you don't use it. But you don't get paid out for like sick time, just vacation time. So since I rarely take sick time, I usually just chew up all my sick days first, and then at the end of the year I'll get the vacation days paid out. So that's cool. That's a nice little bonus. Yeah, the place I work used to let you roll over PTO for a certain period of time, at least 2 or 3 years. Yeah, yeah, because they don't call them sick days. Yeah, yeah, because they don't call them sick days. They call them personal days. So you just call in personal day, and that's how that works. Hmm. I got kitty treats, but you got to come up for them. They're not just going to sit there and come down to you. That's not how that works. Wow. Hey, hey, don't go for the stash on the table. They're right here. Ow. That was my finger, dude. Didn't even have a kitty treat in it. Nepal, that's an interesting place to live. Oh, 3,000 feet up, that isn't that hard in terms of breathing. You have to get up a lot higher than that before you start having breathing issues. Yeah, LA has gone way downhill in recent years. It's really bad. I don't even like going through LA anymore. I just left the kitty treats on the table and he's just helping himself right now to all of them. He keeps pushing them away though, so they're just about out of his reach. So he's having to grab them with his paw, pull them towards himself. No more though, are there? Yeah, yeah, I like the original Time Machine. That's a classic. I was just thinking somebody said something on Facebook this morning that back in what 20s or 30s they did the War of the Worlds on the radio and everyone panicked on Halloween, thought it was a real alien invasion. Awesome. I had a tape of that at one point. He misses her immensely. I mean, it's changed him as a cat, but he's become a lot more clingy. But he's doing okay. He misses her though so much. It's weird. It's like he's looking for her sometimes because used to be when it was both of them. She would be the adventuresome one. If I left the door open, boom, she'd be the one outside in a second, and Bite would kind of reluctantly follow behind. But now that she's gone, he goes outside every once in a while, like he's looking for her or something, trying to figure out what happened to her. Yeah, he owned a little sailboat when he was younger. Uh, that's what the live stream color cover photo is him. In fact, let's pull that photo up because I originally was going to do something else for a picture and ended up doing that one instead. Let's see here. Let's blow this up here so we can see the whole thing. All right, we'll do a little cutaway here. So yeah, this is the photo here, and that's my dad on his boat, and the guy behind him is my grandfather, my mom's dad, and like I said, today would have been his 87th birthday. So I was originally going to go with another photo for the cover photo, but I said no, this is his birthday. We got to do something today. So I went looking, and it's like, oh yeah, that's a good photo of him when he was young. Must have been really young too, because that was my grandfather when he was still alive, and he died in 1982. So that's a very old photo. We did go sailing. I wasn't into this boating as much as he was. Yeah, probably is early 70s. Actually, probably maybe late 70s. Because I remember how the whole sailboat thing started. Back in that time, my parents would do family vacations in a little place in Mission Bay in San Diego called, at the time, it was called Vacation Village. It was like a 43-acre island out in the middle uh, of Mission Bay. It's now called Paradise Point, but it's still kind of the same basic thing. It's all these little cottages, and you're on a little island, and there's restaurants, and access to SeaWorld, which is just right across the bay, and all sorts of fun stuff, great beaches. And we go there every year. And one of the things they had was that you could rent little personal sailboats and take it out into the bay. And my dad did that a few times, really liked it, really enjoyed sailboating, and ended up buying that boat that you saw. And he used that a lot. I never was as into the sailing. I always got seasick, but it was something that he was into big time. No, we never went to SeaWorld via the boat. What my dad though would do is when we go to San Diego for the trip, he would drive the boat down to San Diego. That was about a 100-mile drive, and then he could put it in the water and sail the boat over to the docks because they had docks for their own boats, but they also, if you were staying there, you could dock your own personal boat at the resort. But yeah, like I said, we never took the boat over to SeaWorld. Yeah, that was a lot of it too. My dad, there was a lot of money tied up in the slip fees and stuff like that. Um, and all that. My dad left the boat in the water, so he had to pull it out a couple times, every once in a while to get the barnacles off of it and stuff like that. I don't know. At one point, he just kept it in the front yard on a trailer, and I thought that was probably a better way of going. But got to the point he didn't do it that much anymore, and he ended up selling it off. Actually, I think he donated it to charity. He asked me if I wanted it first, but I wasn't really into sailing, so if I'm going to do boating, I want something with a motor. Hey Jeff, I was just thinking, I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, there you go, cigar boat. Yeah, I can imagine how that sometimes happens, Jeff. Sunday can be a difficult time to get together with a pastor. Yeah, I think you do have to have a license. I know my dad had a license on his boat. I'm sure it's the same everywhere. Anywhere you have anything that you can transport around, Uncle Sam or Uncle Gavin's going to be there with their hands out. It isn't really that way out on Lake Waco. There's a few people out there rud boats, but not that much. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate that. That's really nice of you. Always looking for some new rocks, whether it's rock music or just rocks. I got to replace the ones that are in my head. Because they're used to getting their way no matter what. When they win elections, they say that means that we have a mandate to do whatever we want. And when they lose elections, it means that, well, we still get to do whatever we want. You got to do what we want. It's like, unfortunately, it's not going very well for them this time because they don't have control of the narrative. Things are going great, Jeff. I'm just got done with Halloween. It's all put away for the year now. So next thing we got to do is start getting ready for Christmas. That'll go up in a couple weeks. I bought something new this year for Christmas. I just actually got it today. Home Depot used to have these in the store, but I haven't been able to find them in the store. It's these beautiful outdoor trees that are all lit up. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. I saw them. I thought they looked really pretty. They were a little pricey, but let me show here. Under Christmas yard decorations here. So hang on, let me look. I remember looking before online and trying to find it. And then today I just kind of stumbled upon it really easily. Let me see here, get the whole page loaded here. Cut away to this here so you can see what I'm doing here. So this is the thing I've been looking at here. I've seen these in the store. Get out of the way, Home Depot. I thought they were pretty. They're about 8 feet tall. They have 700 lights on them, and I got two of them. I thought they looked nice in the yard, and like I said, I got big chunks of the yard that like have nothing in it, and so wanted to. I don't know. I think those will look really cool in the yard. So, like I said, I love little Christmas stuff like that. No, they just plug into the wall. I don't really know if I really want to go for the whole solar thing. They just don't last long enough. Oh, thank you for the super chat, Mark. I didn't notice that here. I just thought it was the same one from Jeff. I was like, oh wait, that's something different here. Thank you, Jeff, or thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. Oh, I can't go wrong with steak. I mean, I've seen some of these like porch lights or the like landscaping lights that are solar, and by the end of the night they aren't even holding up very well. So even with a little LED light, which draws almost no power, you know, I don't know. Solar's coming, but it isn't there yet. Thanks for stopping in, Jeff, and thanks for the super chat. Have a good lunch. It's always fun when we catch him between church and lunch. All right, one down. Yeah, I haven't seen Yvonne today. No, the trees will probably be out in the middle of the yard somewhere. I don't know. We'll figure out where we're going to put them at some point. Not sure what a porch-like notebook is. I was thinking I was walking around the neighborhood today, and I've noticed that there's this house that I run into when I'm out on my walks. It's right along this little gully. There's like some gullies around here for water runoff, and these guys have a property that's right on the edge of one of the gullies, and they built like an overhang into the gully and then put like a little house on top of it so that you can go out there and hang out and watch the water going through there. It's really cool. That was a really great idea. I would love to do something like that if there was such a place around here. An outdoor quiet spot, yeah. Well, that's sort of what I'm doing in the backyard with my planter too. Is it's going to be kind of a little chill spot. My patio cover in the house in California, that was my outdoor chill spot there. And planter, when it's done here, that'll be my outdoor chill spot here. Already got some fun things that I'm going to use to decorate it in addition to the plants. Yeah, no Darth today, no Rhonda either. You're right. I don't know. Maybe she's working. Maybe they're out doing NASCAR or something. They're into that big time, I think. The only thing I was going to do to the patio area was replace the flagstone with concrete, and I did that a couple years ago. Yeah, the whole British family is kind of flying apart at the seams right now, aren't they? Yeah, live stream participation is down a little bit, but whatever. 23 people in here, that keeps it manageable. Then everybody can say something and get heard. We get 200 people in here. The comments are you can't read any of them. I don't know, probably. Yeah, I heard he got tied up in this whole Jeffrey Epstein thing. I'm surprised how sometimes these people think they can just get away with stuff like that. Well, Charlie seems to be excommunicating family members a lot. He's going at one of his sons too, the one that married Megan. He's sort of been excommunicated too. Yeah, there's always something that's in the back burner on a project here. I mean, I have this plan. Have this dream some point of completely redoing the front yard. I got two areas in the front yard because there's a walkway going through up to the front door that kind of divides the property in half. One side is under the trees, and then the other side is completely exposed to the sun. I've been thinking about ripping out the lawn in the area where it's exposed to the sun and putting like native plants and stuff in there, stuff that's like low water. Yeah, you know what the nice thing about being an American is? I don't have to worry about what's going on with the Royals. Yeah, I think Harry and Meghan kind of started it too. I think it's actually Meghan that kind of started it, and just Harry went along. Yeah, I enjoy doing the lives too. It's fun seeing the same faces back here, and some new ones too. That's always fun too. Bring someone new into the group. One person leaves, somebody else comes in. Well, she's kind of poisoned the royal brand too. Not the right way to do that. Yeah, I like cactus plants too, but they sometimes have difficulty holding up to some of the temperature extremes that are possible here. I brought two cactuses with me from California, and neither of them survived. I see them out in the wild, but I don't know. That would be fun though if I were going to do something in the front of the house and turn that more into native plants. Have part of it be like cactus land or something like that because they are cool looking. Hmm. Gonna have to take a nap here after this. Live streams are exhausting. Sitting here on the couch, flapping my jaw. Been a little cold here too, in central Texas. Not that chilly, but I don't know. What's Alabama looking like weather-wise? I'll just have to take your word for it. No, no, I'm probably done with vacation now through the end of the year. Yeah, there's a lot of places that have that you can get away with cactus. I remember seeing that like in Palm Springs too. That was very popular. Okay, mid 30s. That's cold because I think we're in the 50s at night right now, and probably getting into the 70s, low 70s, mid 70s during the day. I wasn't aware it was that cold. I guess it's that cold streak that kind of came through here a few days ago. It's still working its way across the country. They're talking about it warming up here too, so it should start warming up there too, day or so after. Yeah, the one I brought from you from California, I'd had for a long time too. Oh man, yeah, that hurricane just basically wiped Jamaica off the map. But if you were watching that radar, that thing just parked there for a couple days straight. That was weird because I'd sit there and watch it on the NOAA website, and it just seemed like it was just in the same place every day. And then one day I looked again, and it was gone. Like it just parked there over Jamaica, and then I said, "Okay, we're done. We've wiped everything off the map. Let's go. We're out of here." It will probably stay down until the Democrats say that they care for the American people more than they do for illegal aliens. Thanks for stopping in, John. Good to see you again. Come visit us again. Mark Levin was saying something about how everybody's concerned right now that there's 42 million people that are about to lose their SNAP benefits because of the shutdown. How is that even an issue? We're not in the middle of a depression. How is it we have 42 million people on SNAP benefits? Gotta wonder how many of these people are capable of working and just choose not to. See, that's a big part of the problem. I think a lot of people would have a lot fewer issues with all these social benefits if they were going to people who truly needed them. But there is no need in many of these cases. People are just lazy. They'd rather collect work and stay at home and do nothing. Collect all the food and everything they need. I don't know. Some of the photos I saw of Jamaica just looks like everything was just wiped off the island. So I don't know. I don't know where the people might have gone. I mean, I was just hearing, death counts, in the teens. It's like, yeah, it sounds like that wiped it off, wiped the island off the map. Seems like it would be more than teens, but who knows? We'll see what happens over the next few days. Thank you, John. Yeah, my dad. I would have enjoyed celebrating my birthday with him. My mom said a number of times that he would have loved being a part of me getting a new house here in Texas, and he probably would have spent most of his time here, helping me get this all done. So the fact that I know how to do so much of this is a testament to him and what he taught me. Well, and that is one of the problems you run into, Gene. The higher you make taxes, the more people you push, you know, the more people that are pushed to the point where they can't do it anymore. You can't just keep raising taxes because what was it Margaret Thatcher said? Eventually you run out of other people's money. Yeah, well, and that's what SNAP benefits are for, Suzanne. It isn't for somebody that can work but doesn't want to. It isn't for illegal aliens. And I believe any kind of benefit like that should come with uh, with efforts to try and get the person to work again, not just give them money and enable them to continue doing what they're doing. That's I think one of the problems you run into with the government is that it tends to focus more on you know just throwing money at the problem. If you're out of work and you're going to you have a new job that's going to start up in a couple weeks, and you just have a little shortcoming right now, then fine. Throwing a little bit of money at the problem is going to be fine. But if the problem is you're addicted to drugs or drinking all the time or something like that, throwing money at that problem isn't going to solve that problem. You're enabling the problem to continue, and it's hard to not get those two things aligned. Yeah, exactly. A hand up, not a handout. Hey, Susan, Halloween was good this year. We had about 72 kids, I think. Went over really well. A lot of good feedback from the visitors. God, look at me. I'm trying to call them guests. I'm still in Disney mode. Hmm. I have to take a nap after this one here. Yeah, I agree, Suzanne. America's poor, seniors, VA, the disabled. That's what that stuff's for. No, no technical difficulties this time. We're an hour 24 in without any issues. So far as I know, nobody's complaining. Nobody's saying I'm freezing or pixelating or anything like that. My live streams always just start at 11 on 11 Texas time. In fact, this time today, I actually had an extra hour to wait to get going because I didn't set daylight savings time on the clock, so I ended up getting up an hour early. So usually it's like I'm up at 8 and start the live stream by 11. Got about 3 hours to get going. Today I actually had 4. Went out and took a walk before the live stream today. Didn't don't usually do that. Yeah, that's one of the contradictions in all this, Mark, is I have to take a drug test to get a job, but they don't have to take a drug test to get welfare. Yeah, well, that was a whole different thing. It was sort of hard to set up a live stream when you were in the process of checking out of your hotel. Thanks for stopping in, Gene. Good talking to you every week. See you next time. Agreed. Off of SNAP, off of healthcare, and onto a bus back to their home country. Yeah, well, I knew when I woke up this morning that it was an hour later or an hour earlier, uh, but I didn't change my clocks last night. And like I said, the computers and the cell phones and all that, they all changed automatically. So had that all straightened out. Just had to go change all the analog clocks. And the Computer glitched on me here. That's better. Okay. Why am I wobbly here? I don't know. Yeah, it's time to end this whole time change thing. That's nonsense. I know there's a lot of will to do it, but I don't know. What we need to do is probably just push it on a state by state basis. There's nothing at the federal government level that says you got to do that. Had to change a few of them, but it's an issue at work too because when you're in a company like I am that runs 24/7, it means that you know on daylight savings, on daylight, going back to the standard time, then that means that the people there have to work 13 hours to get a full day. And then the other half of the year they have to work 11 hours and they end up missing an hour of time. And that hurts people sometimes. It also causes problems in our manufacturing process because, without going too much into detail, when we start manufacturing our product, we have a certain amount of time to finish it. And if the clock changes, it throws all that off. No, I'm sort of keeping myself awake. It just causes so many problems. I just don't understand why we still have it. It's crazy now. Ah, look who's coming to visit. You're kind of waddling there, dude. What's that all about? There we go. Got to be able to see everything here. He's my buddy. Smile on your brother. Right, Bite? You know that song. Just thinking about it. Very good. I need to go out and do some stuff on the roof. We had a kind of powerful rainstorm here about a week and a half ago, and it knocked a lot of junk out of the trees. And I want to get up there and clean the roof off. Maybe do some stuff in the yard. We're getting to the point now where all sorts of stuff's coming out of the trees, and I like to kind of keep that cleaned up and keep the yard looking somewhat neat. So I want to do a little bit of that today. We got to do in the backyard too. I don't mow very much in the backyard. I think I've mowed twice in the backyard all summer. And so it gets a little thick back there, but I kind of tend to leave it that way because that's sort of Flash's habitat. And she likes having leaves and stuff to hide in. So, but I do have to do something every once in a while. Still raining acorns here, but not as much. I think the storm about a week and a half ago knocked a lot of them out of the trees. I have stopped feeding the squirrels though in the area because between the acorns and the pecans, yeah, it's a feast right now for them. But we did get a ton of acorns dropping in the yard this year, just like we did 2 years ago. That was what ultimately did in the pool was that year, there was just, you'd stand outside and look at the pool and every 10, 15 seconds you're plop, plop, plop. I don't really have to clean the gutters that much because I have kind of the leaf master, whatever things over them that protect that. But it does sort of build up, in certain areas, especially when you have big sticks and stuff like that. Just got to get up there and blow the roof off. Go find some dynamite. Am I making you all yawn? That's really rude, isn't it? Yeah, my roof isn't that steep. When I had the house in California, I had a roof with the clay tiles on it, and I hated having those because they always broke. You couldn't walk up there without breaking the tiles. So ultimately, when I moved, I had to actually go try and figure out where they got those tiles from and go replace a bunch of them. I was never up there when it was wet, so the slope on the roof here though is pretty shallow. And I guess the owners that had the house before I did replaced the roof just a few years ago. I guess they had some tornado damage, or not tornado damage, but hail damage, and so they put a new roof on it. And I guess they put a roof on it that's like really designed to hold up to hail and that kind of stuff. So good job, good for me, right? Which videos did you like? Was that the San Antonio trip? Because it was kind of cool that I got so much out of that. 'Cause I think I ended up with, because what did I do? I did the Alamo, I did the Ripley's Believe It or Not, I did the River Walk, I did the two caves, I did the aquarium, and I did the trip back. So that was a whole bunch of videos. I was trying to figure out because it was coming up right before Jordan's wedding, and I was kind of instructed to keep that quiet. So one of the things I had to figure out what I was going to do is how I was going to cover that up with the vlog. And fortunately, I got so many vlogs out of San Antonio trip that nobody even noticed. Well, it's Kitty singular now, Nancy. Nibble passed away about 8 months ago. And so it's just this guy now. He and me. He's still my buddy. Right? Excuse you. Good to see you though again, Nancy. It's been a while. I saw something moving out in the yard. It's just a squirrel. Why aren't you watching the squirrel, dude? There's a squirrel in the yard right now. Jaw wouldn't be ignoring a squirrel. Yeah, and Nibble's passing was sad, but she went really peacefully. I don't think there was a lot of pain. She went with her brother by her side. It happens. It's one of those things. It's part of it's the downside of being a pet owner. It's funny. I've been binge watching Tool Time on Netflix recently. There was an episode recently where Tim was talking about why they have kids because they live longer. Yeah, it's part of the process. You just have to deal with that. And now it's just bite and flash. And who knows, Flash may bury me. We'll see how that works. I thought about doing that with the pecans in the tree, but I don't know. I That just sounds like too much work. Let the squirrels have them. I like having the squirrels in the backyard and the front yard. Yeah, I miss Nibble too. She was a sweet little kitty. She wasn't the most affectionate kitty, but she was a sweetie. And she was Bite's cat. But she lived for a long time. She was almost 18 when she died. It may not be long for the train set. That may be up before Christmas. Because, it's also one of those things that tends to stay up well after Christmas is taken down. Because it isn't uncommon for it to be up in February, March. So I don't know. The train could go up anytime, I suppose. Now that Halloween's taken apart. I noticed they got more of those little clay houses like they had at Walmart that I bought in the past. They've been perfect for perfect scale for the HO trains, and so I might have to go get some more of those. They seem to have new ones every year, and so that's really fun. But I got to get the old ones out because I don't want to end up duplicating things. I don't want to have two of the same building. That would look weird. No, I probably won't do turkey for Thanksgiving. It's too much work for one person. Usually, what I'll do is I'll have a steak or something, hamburger, something simple. I think the last time I had turkey was when I did it on the smoker a couple years ago. It's weird. I wonder if I'm still on the air here. The timer stopped counting off here. I don't know. Did I do a live? I know I've done live streams for Christmas. Did I ever do one for Thanksgiving? Maybe. I know I did a live stream on Christmas last year. Yeah, yeah. Christmas has gotten a little lonely. That's just the kind of the way it was. Yeah, that's right. I have you guys over. Yeah, I made lasagna last year for Christmas. Did that in the and the cranberry jello dessert. I don't know. I've always been sort of an introvert, so it doesn't bother me that much being alone on holidays. Quieter that way. Yeah, the travel videos are fun. I actually really like the idea that when I went to San Antonio, I stayed there for a few days because it really gave me a chance to see what was there. I think last time I did any kind of traveling for a vlog was when I went to Houston. I was only there overnight. And what more do I need, Gene? Right? The beauty of the whole live stream thing is I can let you into my house whenever I want. When I'm done, I just press the little button at the bottom there. It says end stream. It's right there. And that's it. We're done. Oh, yeah. I got the Griswold village too. just saw that yesterday in the storage locker. That'll be coming home soon. There's still a few more restaurants around here I need to hit. So I don't know. It's just a matter of me being in the mood to do a restaurant vlog. Yeah, and I'll probably do another Christmas Day live stream this year. That's a good thing to do. Now that's the beauty. I got a big oak door though. I can just ignore you. You got to find me first. Yeah, well, I just know that there's a bunch of people that are like alone on Christmas days. So, and I'm alone on Christmas days. So it just kind of makes sense to do this. It's really easy. Sit on my butt for 2 hours on the couch and talk to people. I could think of worse things. That's the beauty too. You just people are in and out all night, all day. I mean, you remember I used to do the daily live streams right in the middle of the COVID thing too. This is true, Gene. It's just nice to turn to tune out the world from time to time. It's funny, the timer on YouTube here is frozen. So it's showing that we're an hour 43 into the broadcast, but we're actually almost to the 2 hour mark. Yeah, I enjoyed doing the Sunday live streams. It's good catching up with everyone. It's almost like having a real family. Well, that's the advantage of the live streams too, Gene. When it starts getting descending into madness, I can just end the stream and we're done. I could think of worse than being lazy, Madam Butterfly. For instance, lazy welfare leech. That's a lot worse. The yellow rose of Texas is still living. It gets pretty rough around this time of year, but it comes back every year. You wouldn't think it's still alive looking at it right now, but it is, and it'll come back. It does really well. Thank you very much for that. I was worried about it too because that that rose, there was a rose bush in that exact location from the previous owners, and it had died. But this one keeps coming back every year. Like I said, it looks like it's dead right now, but you know, come spring, it'll start blooming again. Love my yellow rose of Texas. We'll try and post some pictures of it when it starts blooming again this spring. Ask me if I forget, okay? Definitely easier than walking out of it. Definitely easier than walking out of an actual get together. Yeah, that was really, really early, probably the first year or so that you got me that. And I chose the place. I mean, it was the same place, like I said, that there was a rose bush from the previous owners, and it seemed to me like it should be an ideal place. It gets ample sun from early morning to late afternoon. It's right next to the sprinkler head, so it gets a lot of water. Uh, so yeah, I mean, it seems to be. I don't know why it didn't work out the first time. No, I don't cut it back yet. I may if it gets to a certain point. Yes, as a matter of fact, I found Flash yesterday. She just kind of hovered up against the fence right outside the door here. I do need to keep track of her now, though, because as it's starting to get colder, I'm gonna have to get to the point where, next month or two, she'll have to come into the house or at least into the garage for a while. Yeah, I'd love to see this one get really big too, Susan. I was a strange kid too. No, she doesn't really go into the box by herself. I have to put her in. It's weird. There was a box she had in California that she always went into in the winter. I called it her summer house. But when I replaced the summer house with a new winter, why not? I called it the winter house because that was where she hibernated in the winter. And I got rid of that because it was designed specifically for the place in the yard it was in California, and that place wasn't going to be in the yard in Texas. So I just built a new one, and I don't know. She's never been as into that one. Like I said, I put her in it in the winter, and you know, when it's warm enough that she wakes up, that she comes out. But when it's really cold out and snowy or whatever, then into the garage she goes, into the storm shelter. My mom had quite the rose garden too there for a while. She really liked roses. All right. Well, I think we're kind of wrap this one up today. So I'm going to end this live stream. We'll pick this up again next week. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you next time. Good night.